my name is Catherine Smith. Thanks so much for listening in. I'm one of the marketing interns here at Evolvez, and today we're going to be talking about all things Gen Z and brand ambassador programs. So today I'm speaking with Mike, who is the co-founder and CEO of Evolvez, and I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to him so he can introduce himself.
Yeah, Catherine, thanks so much for setting this up. We have
Sure.
a really nice agenda situated here, and I'm really passionate about this stuff. So excited to dive in. But before we do, I want to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Michael Spitalieri, and I am the founder and CEO of Evolvez. And Evolvez is a brand ambassador agency. We create, manage, and scale programs to target the Gen Z market. And we have a two-pronged mission. We are looking to open up entry-level jobs for high school, college students, and recent grads. And we're here to help companies reach that demographic through different marketing and sales tactics.
Gotcha. So it sounds like there's a ton of room for opportunity here based on the kind of consumers and the kind of students that you work with within your program. So given the fact that you are so focused on this Gen Z demographic, let's talk a little bit about them. What is the Gen Z market and why are they so important to your business?
Yeah, well, Gen Z is currently 16 to 24-year-olds. And there's about 72 million Gen Zers in the United States. So this is a large demographic. And even just to give you further perspective, they have a purchasing power of about $143 billion, which makes up about 40% of all US consumers. So we're talking almost half the US consumer population. This is quite a big group.
Yeah, no kidding. They are definitely the focus all over the marketing world. But the pandemic and just the overall nature of the past year in general have changed how these companies interact with the specific Gen Z
Right.
demographic. So how do you think the transition to an almost completely digital environment has impacted how we can reach this Gen Z demographic?
Yeah. Well, I think it's just that, like you said, Catherine, online and this digital environment have been increasing at a very heightened rate, but it just seemed that the pandemic has expedited it tremendously. And really, what it has led to is almost a sense of digital dependency among Gen Z. I mean, to the point where I saw a statistic that about 58% of Gen Z said that they couldn't even go more than 4 hours without having internet access before
Oh,
becoming uncomfortable. And you kind of hear that and it's a little bit shocking, and you hope that it's not necessarily a trend that continues more than ever. But the fact of the matter is, what we are now experiencing with the digital dependency is that it's also more important than ever for connection, right? There's not as much in-person physical connection going on. Talk about the transition from more so experiential and physical marketing tactics to just a complete shift to digital. And because of that, we see that Gen Z is doing such things such as shopping online more than ever, relying on influencers and social media recommendations more than ever. So, really having your digital footprint has become more important than ever.
yeah, absolutely. So going off of that, how do you think that we can best target Gen Z when the trends in their world are moving so quickly?
Yeah. Well, going back to what we said earlier about the importance of influencers and social media recommendations, it is very important right now for brands to be following macro and micro influencers. These are trendsetters. These are the people who have a voice that Gen Z is listening to and they're relying on. So it's really important to hear from them and to have an understanding of what they're doing. But the fact of the matter is, brands also can do a really good job of setting their own tempo. And with that being said, they can develop a brand image and an opportunity to have conversations with their customers. So continuing to do such things as posting your customers, maybe wearing their an outfit of your entire getup if you're a fashion brand, or opening up your Twitter to allow for not only customers to go on and share such things such as feedback and recommendations, but not just reading it and allowing that to go empty, but to actually engage with your customers, right? Because that is the type of things that are going to lead to further sentiment and actual engagement with your audience. So again, developing your own brand image and opening up dialogue with your customers right now is extremely important. And with that being said, two important trends that are developing and are just going to continue to develop over time is one, the idea of video content. Video content is so important right now. Look at the growth of TikTok alone. That can just show its power. And brands getting involved with social impact. These are two things that are really just going to continue to drive authenticity and brand affinity.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So let's go ahead and transition into the next topic of today's episode, which is all about brand ambassadors. What brands and industries do you think would most benefit from a brand ambassador program?
I think anyone with a customer, right? The true identity of a brand ambassador is they need to be a brand evangelist, right? They need to have an affinity for your brand. It's somebody who genuinely loves your product and your service, and they naturally recommend it to others. Then with the brand ambassador program, all you're doing is further incentivizing that audience to maybe do a more concrete action on your behalf. You're already recommending Dove soap to so many people. All they're looking to do is maybe incentivize you in a more structured manner to continue doing those recommendations, right? So, some particular industries that really benefit from brand ambassador programs is definitely education, fashion, cosmetics, food and beverage, gaming, music and video, um, streaming, I should say, finance. Um, but anyone that has specific acquisition marketing metrics that tracks a CPA basis, they can really benefit from a brand ambassador program. Driving app downloads, free trials, signups, subscriptions, sales, such things.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the incredible thing about these brand ambassador programs is how versatile they are and how they can pretty much succeed in any industry that you set them up in. So, what are some reasons a brand should start a brand ambassador program?
Yeah, I mean, versatility was such a good word that you put to it, right? The fact of the matter is, brand ambassadors is like people as a service. You've heard of software as a service. Well, the brand ambassador industry is people as a service. And the beautiful thing about people is that we have such a wide, expansive array of capabilities. You can utilize brand ambassadors through experiential, influencer marketing, consumer insights, right? We can do anything from survey collections down to leveraging someone's social media platform or hosting some sort of events, sampling, flyer distribution, right? And you could do a cross promo campaign where you incorporate all of above. So because of the versatility behind them, um, brand ambassadors are so nice to set up because on top of the versatility, they tend to have a more authentic voice. And behind their more authentic voice is more authentic referrals, right? Brand ambassadors tend to be familiar faces who are influencing first and third degree connections. And most importantly, your brand ambassador should truly have an affinity for your brand. I know when I do phone interviews for our various brand ambassador programs, the first question that I love to ask is, tell me what you know about the company and the job opportunity from your perspective. And I really like doing that because it's such an open-ended question that can go so many different ways. And of course, I love to see ambassadors who are prepared, but truly the best interviews that I have is students that come on and they just start raving about the brand. Oh, I'm a customer. As soon as I saw this, I knew I had to do it. I've been with Dollar Shave Club for years. It's my absolute favorite. It's to the point where it's like they get so caught up in their answer with such passion, they almost forget my question and I have to like revert them back to make sure they understand the job. But it's really such an exciting thing. Um, So, the again, behind the idea of not only influencing people that are closer to you, those first and third degree connections, you're coming from such an authentic standpoint, that it's really just so important. And something that I'll say is the beauty of a brand ambassador. I remember one time somebody asked me like, "Well, how is your marketing different than what Facebook, Google, and Instagram can do?" And I
Mhm.
said, "Well, a brand ambassador can look you in the eye. A brand ambassador can shake your hand, and you can hear the brand ambassador's tonality. You could see the passion as to how they actually portray their message. And such an important thing with marketing is the rule of seven, which simply states that an ambassador, I'm sorry, not an ambassador. The rule of seven states that the average consumer needs about seven different interactions with a brand or that brand's marketing message before they actually go on to make a purchasing decision. But I do believe that brand ambassadors really expedite that process just because they come with such passion and sincerity. And the closer that they are to you, the more you just have ultimate trust in them. I saw something recently from a Her Campus webinar. Her Campus is a great company out there. And it was saying that the biggest influences as in terms of driving purchasing decisions was recommendations through social media, through first to third degree connections, word of mouth recommendations, and then recommendations from influencers. And again, the key with that, of the top three things, it all had to do with some sort of recommendation. And a brand ambassador really does carry such weight when it comes to recommendations.
100%. I couldn't agree more. I've definitely seen all of this happen during my time at Evolves just as an intern. So I can't imagine how much experience you've had with seeing how beneficial a brand ambassador program can be for a small company or a large company, whatever degree it is.
Yeah.
So just keeping that in mind as we start to wrap up our interview, what do you think is in store for fall 2021 in terms
Yeah.
of going back to school?
Well, this can be a really exciting time. This can be a really exciting time for society because everyone knows what we've went through for the last year. But the vaccine is rolling out at a nice rate right now. And because of that, we're seeing a lot of optimistic news about colleges expecting what they're calling a more normal-ish
Right, exactly.
society. And the reason that a more normalish school year. And the reason behind the word normalish carries two different points of weight. The first one is campuses are setting different guidelines. So I've seen such thing as campuses are only going to allow students back who have the vaccine. I've seen such thing as campuses saying that we're still going to implement mask mandates. We want to implement some sort of social distancing. But the fact of the matter is, we do expect to open up the library again. We do expect to open up cafeterias. We do want to bring people back in dorms. And then I've seen certain schools that are saying our goal is for a full on rollout.
Mhm.
So the fact of the matter is, it is still going to be a school by school basis as to how things are going. But a very common trend is that we're going to open up more than we have. The most we've opened up since pre-pandemic. And that's really exciting. The first and foremost
Interesting.
is, they call college the 4 best years of your life. So I know that students are extremely optimistic about this, from speaking to our own brand ambassadors to, just to continue to reading things online because I'm in the space. People are very exciting. That word gratitude is really going to come about. I think people are going to be very excited when they're on campus. And brands can really have a say in, generating some buzz on campus. Um, Now, the fact of the matter is, I do want to state adamantly that there will be guidelines. There will be school by school basis guidelines. But the fact of the matter is, there is going to be opportunities for brands to say, hey, welcome back. Our goal is to make this as great of a school year for you as possible. We're here. We're ready to get integrated back into your lives, right? And any sort of experiential mannerism that a brand can implement should be put into place. The
Mhm.
first and foremost, a big reason that college life is so craved again is people miss human attention. That idea that you're on a campus with 17,000, 34,000, even as little as 3 to 8,000 people. There's such excitement, there's such an energy in the air that people miss that. And they miss having the camaraderie of being on a school campus where we're all a part of this together. We chose to come to this school together. And any sort of experiential mannerism that can tie students back together will just be so appreciated. So anytime there's an opportunity to do events, to do some sort of sampling, to do such thing as brand ambassadors who can go around and just be like, hey, welcome back. And again, look you in the eye and have that one-on-one communication. There's so many people who haven't had such a dynamic in months, even over a year. So any opportunity to launch some sort of experiential campaign
Mhm.
it can generate such buzz right now. And the fact of the matter is, back to school shopping. We're seeing great numbers for back to school shopping. And just to give some perspective, again, going back to the Her Campus webinar that I just watched, we're seeing that back to school shopping is going to take place mostly in July and August. So if brands aren't thinking about this, they need to start thinking about back to school now. They need to start getting campaigns ready now. And to me, a really nice campaign can be in the summer, utilizing your digital voice. We're excited for you. We're aware of what's going on. Um, Here's maybe a little student discount for you. Here's the different new items that we have going on at Bed Bath and Beyond. Right. So utilizing your digital voice to allow students to know, to show support, to allow students to know what you're going to have in store for this back to school. And then if there's ever a time that you can offer some sort of promotion, that always catches attention, and to allowing them to know, hey, this fall we plan on doing X, Y, and Z, and maybe we're coming to your campus to do X. We're giving some sort of donation to allow for a more open environment. We're implementing X amount of budget to open up more COVID testing, to open up more vaccine uh, facilities. Because again, going back to the idea of, hey, we're Bed Bath and Beyond, we're such an integral part of your back to school shopping, that it's also a part of our mission that when you go back to campus you have as great of a life as possible. It's stuff like that, going back to what we said earlier about benefiting society, that really catches attention and is going to draw affinity of these students. So, to do some sort of influencer stuff over the summer, to tie that back with experiential during the fall, it can just lead to a really nice, fun, and authentic campaign that's going to catch attention, going to drive affinity, and even purchasing decisions.
Absolutely. Yep. You've raised some incredible points, provided some awesome insights and advice in this episode. And I want to thank you for your time and everything that you were able to share today. I've personally taken away so much. And to our audience, we'd love to hear what you all think about Gen Z and about the upcoming semester. So let us know if you have any personal stories or experience that you'd like to share. And we look forward to our next discussion in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, so well said, Catherine. All I want to chime in is exactly like you said. I'm really big on LinkedIn. You can find me at Michael Spitalieri. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to further engage in a more personalized conversation and ask any questions that you might have about the topics that we've covered today, or even how you can get a campaign going this back to school.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Mike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Catherine. Have a good one.
You too.